How goes it, people? I'm Ian, this is Hammers Poles, and with the talk of a potential takeover, I've been asking fans this week, who do they want to run the club? Let's take a look and see what everyone thinks. And if you like the show, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.
Hey everybody, it's Wally from the American Hammers TV, and I'm here to answer this week's Hammers poll question about who should own the club, and obviously I think it should be an American takeover, and here's why. I've been following West Ham since 1970 when I was a kid in London, but it's only been the last, say, 7 or so years where I've actually really followed the team closely, and I bought into the whole, moving to the new big stadium as a way to improve the club and everything. But as it turns out, that really didn't work out, and I have to fault the management on that. When I heard, for example, when Pellegrini left, that we lost, he took all our, scouting records and everything. I mean, it just makes the club sound like it's run in a shambles manner. And when I compare that to how American football clubs are run, they're all run top-notch, well-run clubs. And whereas I assume the Premier League, the top league in the world for football, the clubs would all be run well as well. And obviously that's not the case. So I think if you bring in American management, you'll get, top-notch talent. We get the top talent in, from the U.S. We get all the best training facilities, the best training pitches, also the best medical staff will come in. And also, hey, cheerleaders maybe. Anyway, if you bring the Americans in, we're going to make West Ham great again.
Who should own West Ham? Doesn't matter. Couldn't care what your nationality is. Just looking for competence, professionalism, and not these lot that are currently in there. Somebody that understands where the fans are coming from. Doesn't have to be on our side every time, but wants to do the best for the football club and understands that while they may own it monetarily, spiritually, they're only the guardians of West Ham, and it's the fans that really matter. So that's my answer. Doesn't matter where you come from, just looking for some competence.
Who do I want as new owners at the club? It would be ideal to have actual West Ham fans who want to pump, money into the club, like we thought Golden Sullivan would, but it's never turned out that way, apart from a few windows here and there. The infrastructure has to change, so someone who has an idea of how to run a football club would be even better. I'm not too bothered who takes over from Golden Sullivan. They can't be any worse investment-wise. But I do worry that if someone like Red Bull takes over, that they'll change the club colours and the club crest and will be Red Bull West Ham. And I don't think I could support that team, because that means that West Ham is truly dead. There'll be nothing, no history, no nothing. But Red Bull seems to take over teams that aren't really of any standing. They've got no great tradition, as far as I know. So they couldn't really take West Ham on like that and do. I think there'd be huge uproar if that did happen. So I don't think Red Bull's really on the cards, just for that matter. A lot of American owners linked. There's some good owners, some good American owners, Liverpool owners, for example, and some bad American owners, the Man United owners, for example. So it's a bit 50-50 where that's concerned. But Trip Smith, I think, has shares in the club at the moment, and he's been linked for takeover, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to come to fruition. If we get some Arab owners, like Man City have got, just bankroll. They've won a few league titles, but they've never won a Champions League. So for us, for them, it's like fantastic. They keep going for the league titles, but after a while, they want more. So they're obviously happy with their owners. They just need the right investment in the, in the management system or play system. But they've got everything. Man City, so it's hard to decipher why they're not being successful in the areas they want to be. The Champions League, a whole different kettle of fish, as everyone knows. And if we got Asian owners, the way that Leicester have been managed is absolutely fantastic. But then you get others, I think, from Wigan, who, they're dodgy bet, and Wigan are put into a really bad situation financially. So it's all springs and roundabouts. And I think GSB are getting desperate now, where they want to just sell up. There's rumours of discontent within the ranks, and it could be that they just sell up within the next year to the highest bidder, whoever that may be. So it's always a difficult one when you want the owners out, but there's no one really looking to take over. I think much like Newcastle was or is with Ashley, and it just depends who you get in instead. So it could be the worst thing that ever happens to West Ham, but I can't see that being the way, because GSB have been the worst thing to happen to the club, in my opinion, and in many other fans' opinions. So it'll be interesting, but I'm not too bothered who takes over, as long as they're good, wherever they come from. As long as the money's not dirty, that's the last thing we need. But yeah, I'm not too fussed. But anyone in GSP at the moment, anyway. Company wise.
The issue of who should take over the club has always been a bit of an iffy one for me. I mean, I'm very GSB out, have been for quite a while now, and there's been a lot of talk, obviously, in the last sort of week or so about possible takeover bids and the like. I still think that was to do with season ticket renewals, but the uncynical part of me obviously hopes it is true. For me, I obviously do want the club to be taken over, but I'm very keen for it to be taken over by someone or someones who have the best interest of the club in mind. And I'm not meaning from I want to come in and I want to plough loads of money into it and win loads of trophies and be a successful chairman, which on paper is good. We want that. I'm thinking more along the lines of like the Leicester chairman, the things that the things that he did for the fans, and that his family are carrying on that legacy of truly caring for the fans and wanting to know the history of the club and appreciate what the fans actually do for the club. So for me, it would have to be owners that appreciate what we stand for, our history, our heritage, and not just see us as another club who's desperate for new owners, desperate for money, and will go out and suddenly become the next Chelsea or Man U, as we've already started to lose a little bit of what we are since we've moved to the stadium. Some would argue we've lost a lot of who we are since moving to the Soulless Bowl. So for me, we would need owners that care, if that's a properly girly way of saying it. Fans that do care, know what they're taking on. I'm hoping anyone who has been paying attention will obviously see, what Hammers United and GSB out has been doing, showing that when we're not happy, we're not happy, and we will say we're not happy. We've had to put up with some pretty dodgy ownership over the years, so I'm inclined to go towards American owners, if I'm honest. I've got obviously opinions about Saudi and Qatari owners. That's for a whole other conversation. So for me, Americans get sport. They get the fans. They get why the fans come every week. They get, why they love it, and if they treat them right and give them the right atmosphere and give them the right day, they'll spend a lot of money and they'll want to. They have great facilities. They've got great stadiums. They've got ample places for people to meet and drink, and it's the day out, especially if you look at the NFLs and things like that. So for me, if I had to choose, if I had a choice, it would be American owners. And if the rumours are true that we are having some sort of American consortium, then I would potentially be happy with it. But we'll see. So until we see the new owner equivalent of some nice people in suits holding up one of our shirts, I won't believe it. But we'll see.
For West Ham fans everywhere, this is the ultimate football app for you. Never miss a thing with the latest West Ham news, gossip and social stories as they break. Download the free COY Irons app now from the App Store and Google Play.